Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I continue bringing you the next part of the story about Hoài Ca's background. The morning at the small home of Hoài Ca and Hùng begins with the gentle aroma of freshly cooked glass noodles spreading throughout the kitchen. Thin wisps of steam rise into the air, blending with the early sunlight that slips through the window, creating a scene of rare tranquility. Outside in the yard, drops of morning dew still cling to the leaves, sparkling like tiny crystals. In the quiet stillness of dawn, every sound becomes clearer: the soft footsteps, the light clinking of bowls and chopsticks, the gentle bubbling of boiling water in the pot. In the kitchen, Hoài Ca busily prepares breakfast. She is not rushed, yet every movement is swift and familiar, as if caring for her family has become a natural rhythm of her breathing. When Hùng steps inside, he pauses briefly at the doorway, looking at his wife with tender eyes. His smile is not loud or exaggerated, just gentle enough to make the room feel a little warmer. "You came right when it's perfectly done." That simple sentence makes Hoài Ca turn around, her eyes lighting up with a small but sincere joy. The two sit down at the table, bowls of steaming noodles placed before them. Their morning conversation is nothing grand. It revolves around Tony and Duc, who are playing at their maternal grandparents' house. Hoài Ca shares that Tony loves Quynh and ate 4 rolls yesterday until his belly was full and round, his face glowing with satisfaction. Hùng laughs, his laughter echoing softly in the small kitchen, breaking the quiet of early morning. He gently reminds her to change the dishes occasionally so the child can enjoy different flavors, his tone caring yet natural. Those seemingly trivial conversations make the house feel as if a small flame has been lit inside it. It is not luxury or extraordinary events that create warmth, but the care in every word and every glance. Today, glass noodles replace the usual instant noodles. As they eat, Hoài Ca mentions that near Tet, people sell more glass noodles because it is the seaweed harvest season, so the market is filled with them. She speaks calmly, as if describing the familiar rhythm of rural life. Hùng nods thoughtfully, savoring each bite and occasionally complimenting the taste. In the middle of that simple breakfast, he unexpectedly brings up the idea of submitting a request to transfer his work closer to home. He says his superior has hinted at the possibility. He only needs to write and submit a formal application for consideration. His words make the atmosphere pause for a moment. If he can transfer back, he will no longer have to be far from Hoài Ca and Tony. No more long trips. No more checking in through phone calls and small screens. As she listens, Hoài Ca feels a mix of emotions rising within her. She is happy, knowing he always wishes to be near his family, to witness every moment of their child growing up. But she also understands that transferring is not simple, especially when his current position is stable. She does not say much, just nods softly, her eyes filled with trust. She believes that if they both try their best, everything will eventually find the most suitable path. After breakfast, when sunlight clearly brightens the small pathways, Hoài Ca heads to the field to harvest corn as planned. The garden plot, about 1,600 square meters, belongs to Ms. Ton's family. The path leading there is still damp with dew, each step leaving a light imprint on the soft soil. This year, the price of seaweed is low. Many people are considering leaving their land uncultivated because the effort outweighs the return. Amid that setting, Hoài Ca carries a plan she has been thinking about for many days. She wants to lease the land for 3 years to grow flowers and create a small garden where visitors can come to take photos and enjoy the scenery. The idea is not impulsive. It comes from quiet observation, careful listening, and thoughtful reflection. She bravely presents her proposal to Ms. Ton. Her voice is not loud, but clear enough to show her sincerity. Miss Ton does not dare to decide immediately, as she needs to consult her husband and parents-in-law. Hoài Ca understands, so she simply smiles and says she will wait. She explains that she will not pour concrete or cause any permanent changes to the land, only plant flowers and set up temporary decorative frames. When the lease ends, she will return the land exactly as it was. As Hoài Ca speaks about her plan, her eyes shine with hope. She believes that if she is sincere, people will understand. For her, this is not merely a business venture. It is a desire to build something of her own, a longing to transform an ordinary piece of land into a place that preserves beautiful moments for others. As life quietly shifts with Ted approaching, amid conversations about work, family, and the future, this dream grows steadily in Hoài Ca's heart. And just like Hung's decision to apply for a job transfer, it is not simply a choice, but a step that reflects their faith in a closer, fuller tomorrow. As the afternoon slowly fades, the pale sunlight softens over the old tiled roof. Hoài Ca returns home after a long day in the fields. The late-day breeze carries a slight chill, mixed with the scent of damp soil and kitchen smoke drifting from nearby houses. She changes out of her work clothes still dusted with earth, tidies her hair, and then joins Hung to prepare for the year-end gathering at his friend's house. The atmosphere of the approaching year's end seems to weave itself into every step they take. Along the small road leading to the village entrance, people have already begun cleaning, hanging lights, and preparing for the upcoming days of reunion. Hung drives slowly, occasionally turning to ask if she feels tired. Hoài Ca simply smiles and shakes her head. In recent days, so many plans and thoughts have followed one after another, yet inside her is an indescribable calmness, as if everything is gradually finding its rightful place. On the way, they stop to visit the elderly herbalist Hung once mentioned. The small house nestles beside a row of bamboo trees, bundles of medicinal leaves laid out in the yard to dry. The faint scent of herbs lingers in the air, rich yet warm, creating a sense of familiarity and stillness. The old man sits at a worn wooden table, his hair completely silver, his deep eyes slow and steady, as if they have witnessed countless turns of life. Hung greets him respectfully and introduces Hoài Ca. He explains that she hopes to study traditional Vietnamese herbal medicine to help others, if the old man is willing to teach her. The room falls silent for a few brief seconds as the elderly man lifts his gaze to look at her. His eyes are not hurried, they seem to examine carefully, as if trying to read something beyond the simple appearance of the woman before him. Learning is not difficult, but to be a healer, you must work with your heart. His voice is low and deliberate, each word falling clearly into the quiet space. Hoài Ca nods gently. She does not speak much, responding instead with a sincere gaze. The days she once spent alone in the forest gathering herbs, the times she wandered for days just to find a plant that could save someone, all return vividly to her mind. She understands that medicine is not merely memorizing lessons, not just formulas or methods, but a responsibility carried on one's shoulders, a carefulness in every decision. For her, helping others has never been about money or praise. It is about inner peace, about not regretting having missed a chance to save someone in need. Perhaps it is her calm demeanor and unwavering eyes that gradually soften the old man's heart. He sets down his teacup and slowly admits that he has long wanted to pass on his craft, but has yet to find someone patient enough. Not everyone can endure the quiet months of learning. Not everyone has the perseverance to see a remedy through to its very end. After some conversation, he unexpectedly mentions his most treasured remedy, a treatment for stroke. His voice lowers slightly as he speaks of it, as if recalling a deeply rooted memory. He says that if Hoài Ca truly wishes to learn, he will teach her wholeheartedly, without holding anything back. In that moment, the room seems warmer. Hung looks at his wife, silent pride shining in his eyes. Hoài Ca bows her head in gratitude, her heart swelling with emotions difficult to describe. To be entrusted with such knowledge is not merely to receive lessons, but to accept the faith of someone who has devoted his entire life to the art of healing. The conversation then takes an unexpected turn when Hung gently asks about the old man's long-lost granddaughter, Ha Ti Hong, who disappeared more than 20 years ago. The mere mention of the name causes the air to grow heavy. The elderly man pauses, his aged hands quietly tightening together. His voice trembles as he speaks of his granddaughter. More than 2 decades have passed, yet the pain remains untouched by time. His eyes drift into the distance, as if gazing toward a worn and fading memory that has never truly disappeared. Hoài Ca sits silently. She, too, grew up without knowing her true origins. Since childhood, questions about her background have lingered quietly in her heart without answers. There is no evidence, no clear connection, only a faint coincidence, but as she listens to the story, her heart beats with a strange and unfamiliar rhythm. The old man looks at Hoài Ca for a long moment, his eyes filled with compassion, as though he sees a familiar image within her. "I feel affection for you, as if you were my own granddaughter." His words are soft, yet powerful enough to slow the world around them. No one speaks further. Hung glances at Hoài Ca and notices her bow her head slightly, her eyes glistening. Inside the small house, filled with the scent of herbal medicine, amid stories of vocation, longing, and loss, an unnamed feeling quietly takes shape. There is no confirmation, no solid proof, only a coincidence too strong to ignore. And in that silent moment, it feels as though an invisible thread is slowly being tied back together, fragile, yet strong enough to stir each heart gently, opening a new space of thought that still awaits its answer. Leaving the old man's house, Hoài Ca walks slowly along the familiar village road, her fingers tightly interlaced with Hung's as if holding onto the emotions still fresh in her heart. The afternoon light has faded into a pale golden hue, casting a gentle glow over everything. A soft breeze passes by, carrying the scent of dry grass and the lingering aroma of herbs still clinging to her clothes. Her eyes shine with unmistakable joy, the joy of someone who has just touched the dream she has long nurtured in silence. She is happy to have been accepted as a student, happy that the door to learning traditional Vietnamese herbal medicine, once only a quiet thought in her heart, has now begun to take clear shape. It is no longer a distant idea, no longer a vague dream, but an opportunity entrusted to her by someone who believes in her. For Hoài Ca, this is not merely about learning a profession, it is about receiving a calling. She understands that from this moment on, every step she takes will carry greater responsibility, a deeper respect for the remedies that have been preserved through generations. Hung looks at his wife and notices a different light in her eyes, the light of faith and determination. He feels joy as well, not because of anything grand, but because the woman he loves is being valued and trusted. For him, that happiness is simple yet profound. He has always hoped that Hoài Ca could pursue what she truly loves, could stand firmly on her own passion and sincerity. And today, he sees the beginning of that journey. The road ahead remains uncertain. Whether the 1,600 square meter plot of land will be leased to them is still unanswered. Whether Hung's application for a job transfer will be approved, no one can say for sure. And the story of Hoài Ca's background, the coincidences just mentioned, remains nothing more than thoughts without a name. Each matter feels like a small crossroads, capable of leading them in different directions. Yet amid all these unknowns, one thing is clear: their trust in each other. They do not need grand promises or overly detailed plans for the future. It is enough that when one turns back, the other is still there, still willing to hold hands and move forward together. That companionship makes everything feel lighter, even the challenges that have not yet fully appeared. The final days of the year pass in their familiar rhythm of busyness. People clean their homes, prepare for Tet, and buy what is needed for a new beginning. In Hoai Ca and Hung's small house, the atmosphere gradually carries the flavor of year's end. It is not only the scent of fresh glass noodles in the morning, not only the laughter of children when Tony and Duck call to share their stories, but also the quiet planting of dreams. A dream of a flower garden blooming brightly on a piece of land that might otherwise be left unused, a place where people can come, capture beautiful moments, and bring home colorful photographs. A dream of becoming a healer with heart, not only treating illness with knowledge, but with understanding and compassion. The road ahead is long, but it now has a starting point. And a dream of a home no longer marked by distance, a home where Hung does not have to travel far, where every meal has all seats filled at the table. The life of Hoai Ca and Hung is not loud or dramatic. They do not chase after grand ambitions. Each day is a small but steady step forward, perseverance in work, sharing at every meal, a supportive glance when one of them feels discouraged. It is within these seemingly simple moments that happiness quietly grows. Not showy, not rushed, just silently taking root in their hearts, like seeds planted in fertile soil, waiting patiently for the day they rise to greet the sunlight. And today, the story of Hoai Ca and Hung comes to a close here. Amid the busy final days of the year, surrounded by plans still waiting for answers, they continue to choose to hold hands and move forward together. The piece of land may not yet be confirmed for lease. The job transfer request may still require time and patience. And the story of Hoai Ca's origins remains a quiet question mark, but what matters most is that they are no longer walking alone. Inside that small house, dreams have already been planted. A flower garden waits for the day it blooms. A journey of studying herbal medicine begins with the word heart. And a home is slowly becoming more complete with each passing day. Perhaps happiness does not come from grand achievements, but from being able to sit together each morning, share small joys each afternoon, and reach for a waiting hand every evening. Thank you for listening to today's story. Stay tuned for the next episodes to see whether the land will be approved, what will happen to Hung's transfer application, and whether the coincidences surrounding Hoai Ca's background will gradually come to light. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment to share your thoughts and feelings. See you again in the next episode.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Nay thì mình đang làm video. Giờ thì mình làm video tối để sáng mai lên nha mọi người. Nhà mình thì hơi ồn ào do mấy đứa nhỏ nó đang chơi. Bây giờ thì mình đang làm video. Cảm ơn mọi người rất nhiều vì đã theo dõi video của mình. Hai đứa rồi. Tự cho Rick quay video không thấy à? Để im cho bà ngoại đang nói chuyện điện thoại thấy. Tao có bảo Sang thấy đâu. Cảm ơn mọi người, tạm biệt mọi người, hẹn gặp lại ở video sau nhé.